Hi everyone, good afternoon, and you're welcome to the race watch-along for the British Grand Prix sprint race, sprint qualifying. I'm not even sure what terminology we should be using for this. So it's essentially qualifying for tomorrow's full feature-length race, even though we had a qualifying session yesterday. But yeah, it's hopefully going to be quite exciting. I was looking at a little bit of the Formula 2 earlier today, and there were a number of safety car incidents that happened, but there wasn't a lot of overtaking. So I'm ever so slightly apprehensive about that, I would say. Yeah, as we move into this race as well, 17 laps. Hamilton, yeah, Hamilton is in first place. He qualified in pole position yesterday. So I guess Verstappen has looked very fast all weekend. So we do have the 1-2 battle going there. But the big question I would have is, how much are they going to push for this? You know, how much does this matter to Verstappen for him to come first or for him to come second? It's qualifying for tomorrow's race. So it's a really interesting perspective, and I'm quite excited to see how the race goes. I'm hoping it's not going to be a procession, and that's what Lewis Hamilton has predicted. And actually, he can be the reason for this in a sense, because he's the one predicting it. But yeah, let's see how it goes. All right, I'm going to switch us over to presentation mode. So very quickly, coming back to where we stand at the moment in the championship. So as we know, we have Verstappen won the last race, Bottas was in second and Norris was in third. So Hamilton actually finished outside of the top three last time. It really didn't help his championship standings whatsoever. And this is what the championship looks like right now. Look at that. Verstappen has a 32-point lead over Hamilton in the championship. That's amazing. So even if Verstappen were to crash out of tomorrow's race and not finish, the maximum he would lose is 25 points. Of course, with the sprint race that's been brought into place today, he could also lose potentially another 3 points to Hamilton. So let's see. So 25 and 3 is 28 points and 1 for fastest lap. 29 points he could lose and he would still be winning the championship by 3 points. So he has that little bit of buffer in place now. And then we have Perez, Norris, Bottas all battling it out for third place. So Perez is slightly in front in that battle right now. But he has a 12-point lead over Bottas, which is important. It's actually Norris who's putting up the surprise here. So very good for him. Very good. And Norris has been great this season. He really has. I've been very impressed with him, and I've really enjoyed watching him race. The Ferraris, yeah, they're just not there yet. They don't have the speed that they need to be competing at the front, but they're doing quite well in most of the practice sessions, and yeah, they're doing well in the races to an extent. Now, the last 2 rounds in Austria, they went backwards during the race, which was a shame. They did quite well in qualifying, so I'm hoping that's still not the case for Silverstone. Maybe it was just a nuance of that track. Time will tell, though. Time will tell. Gasly is in there in 9th place, and Vettel is in the top 10. Look at that, 10th. Who am I forgetting to mention here? Of course, Ricardo. Yeah, we want to see Ricardo battling it out. We want to see him up there with Norris. This is what I want to see. I think Ricardo is a very exciting driver. Such a shame that he's not in the mix at the moment. There have been glimpses. That he gets there. And his last race at the Austrian Grand Prix was quite a good one, but completely overshadowed by what his teammate did, finishing that race in 3rd place. So whilst it was good, it was still not good enough. And the Constructors' Championship after the Austrian Grand Prix, Red Bull winning that, and they have quite a lead. Look at that 44-point lead over Mercedes at the moment. If you had said to me this time last year that Mercedes would be losing, we're not even at the halfway point of the season, or at least we assume we're not. 40 points ahead of Mercedes. That's great. That's great. It's good for the championship. I wish McLaren were a little bit closer. I wish Ferrari were a little bit closer to the top 2, but it'll all come into play. And yes, so we had qualifying yesterday. Now, one thing I must admit when I look at this, okay, we had qualifying for qualifying. As I said, I have no idea what the correct terminology is to use here at the moment. So qualifying. One thing I don't understand, actually, looking at this stat here, is the laps. Did Lewis Hamilton really do 23 laps during qualifying yesterday? That seems... Well, it seems consistent in that the top 10 have done more than anybody else, and they went through to Q3, so maybe that is true. I just find it amazing that Max Verstappen did only 16 laps, whereas Lewis Hamilton did 23 laps. But I guess, if you take one additional run into account, that's 3 laps, because you have the in-lap, out-lap, and the fast lap. So we're getting ready to go here, actually, with this race, and it's fantastic weather over in the UK. Fantastic weather. I'm based in Ireland, and the weather here is also really, really nice. This is the grid we're looking at then. So Hamilton will be starting in first, Verstappen in second, Bottas in third. Leclerc will be starting in fourth and Perez in fifth. So Perez is slightly removed from that battle for the top 3. I think it's all going to be down to Hamilton and Verstappen into the first corner. At least that's what I'm hoping. And I have a sneaking feeling that Bottas could be there to pick up the pieces depending on what happens. Look at Norris in 6th, he could do something. And Ricciardo very consistently just behind his teammate in 7th. Is Russell finally going to finish in the top 10? I know he won't get any points today if he does finish in the top 10, so that would be very bittersweet for him. But yeah, it remains to be seen. And looking down, any other surprises in there? Nothing really. Gasly is outside of the top 10 for once, but of course it's not the official formal qualifying. This is the qualifying coming up now, this sprint race. And some pictures from yesterday. Yes, fastest qualifier, Lewis Hamilton. He's back, and he was very happy about it as well. There was a great exchange on the radio with himself and his engineer, so they were thrilled, absolutely, and meant a lot to them, this race. You can see, look at the crowds in Silverstone as well. Really great to see that. And Friday evening as well, it was really nice. It was a great evening. I very much enjoyed the qualifying yesterday. Lewis Hamilton gives a thumbs up to the fans. So what's going to happen in the sprint race? I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. But we're almost there now. We're almost there, getting ready to go. So they're just going through the grid at the moment on TV. And yeah, we'll get ready to go very, very soon. Down into that first corner. I have a feeling that's where it's at. I have a feeling it's all in the first corner. We'll find out very, very soon. So Sainz is in 9th, Vettel is in 10th. Yeah, we're going outside the top 10 now. They're showing us a nice rundown of everybody. Yeah, time to take the warmers off the tyres. We're getting there. We're getting there. Schumacher and Mazepin at the back. Not a big surprise. Haas just hasn't been at the races this season. Just hasn't been there. Now they're getting ready to go around on the formation lap. Look at where Verstappen. Look where Verstappen has placed his car on the grid. Hi Nadula, no, we won't be showing the race. So this is a watch along where, the copyright rules and everything else, we're not allowed to show the race, unfortunately. So apologies for that. I would if I could. Believe me, I would if I could. So Hamilton will be starting in first place. Okay, they're off now on the formation lap. They're going around. We'll be getting going very, very soon here. Yeah, it's exactly 4:30 UK time now. Right on time. Very Swiss of them. Right on time. Bottas is starting on the soft tyres. Verstappen will be on the medium tyres. Hamilton will be on the medium tyres. It looks like nearly everybody's on the medium tyres until you go down to 11th. Alonso is going for soft as well. Ocon is also going for soft. And there was somebody else on soft. It was possibly one of the Haas drivers will be starting on soft as well. So that's it's Raikkonen actually. Apologies, it's Raikkonen is also starting on soft. Everybody else is on medium. So Hamilton, Verstappen are on medium. Leclerc, Perez, Norris, all those guys, they're all on medium. But Bottas is on the soft tire. So is Bottas the wild card here? What can he do? What can he do? I guess technically Hamilton is our race leader now, so he'll be starting on pole position, of course. So Hamilton leads. We'll see if he's leading after the first corner. That's where the excitement starts to kick in now. So 17 laps for Bottas to maintain those soft tires. Not just Bottas, but also the Alpine cars as well. 17 laps. I guess they're not going with the full fuel load though. No full fuel tank. So that's something. Makes the cars a little bit lighter and less wear on the tires, but the temperature on the track must be quite high at the moment. I haven't seen a read for how hot the track is right now. The Sky commentators have confirmed about a third of the fuel. Well, that was pretty obvious because it is a third of race distance. So they're getting ready to come around now. They're showing, it looks like that's Latifi they're focusing in on there. Of course, he'll be one of the final cars to come around and form up this grid. Now, the tension kicks in, the nerves. I'm not nervous, I'm not driving. It's interesting, who would I like to see win this? It is only the sprint race, so ideally when you think about the likes of Norris and Leclerc and Sainz, all those drivers, you'd love to see them win a race, but probably not the sprint race. It's the tomorrow race. It's the main feature race you want to see those guys win, because I don't think this gets credited as a real win if you win this. Maybe they have to create a new stat now. Who has the most sprint race wins? Well, whoever wins this will have the most sprint race wins. So we're getting ready to go. And they're off. They're off. Look at that. A great start from Verstappen, and he's taken the lead. A fantastic start from Verstappen. Perez is mixing it up with the McLarens. So Perez is way off the pace. Matthew, do you like this new format? Yes. Well, I think I like it, Matthew. I think I like this new format. So it all comes down to whether or not this is an exciting race or if this is a procession. Because if it's a procession, that's just it's just one more boring aspect to add to Formula 1, and people always complain about how boring Formula 1 is from time to time, so it doesn't need that. There's great action going on here between Hamilton and Verstappen, so these guys are really going for it. Verstappen is managing to hold off Hamilton now, but Verstappen had a fantastic start. He got away like a rocket. Leclerc stays in fourth. Alonso's up into fifth. How did Alonso do that? Alonso in fifth place. Amazing. Norris is down into sixth. Perez is in seventh. Oh, let me see. Ricciardo has just overtaken Perez by the looks of it. And Perez has gotten back past Ricciardo again. Lots of action going on here. So yeah, speaking about the new format, so far so good. This is great. So Verstappen is slow with downforce by comparison, but he seems to have pulled off an ever so slight gap once again from the rest of the drivers. Yeah, so just confirming there, Perez getting past Ricciardo. So there's lots of action going on in the top 10. Now, Norris looks like he's all over the back of Alonso. What can he do? Oh, it's a replay of the start. Yes, I really want to see this. Oh, look at the fire on the brakes for Verstappen. His brakes are on fire. The sooner the better they get going. I wonder if that is going to cause any damage to his brakes, but you can't say his brakes were cold anyway going into that first corner. But he got away really, really well. But you can tell why he needed to get away so urgently. Huge flames coming out of his brakes there. It's a very strong start as well from Charles Leclerc. So as it stands at the moment, it'll be 3 points for Verstappen, 2 points for Hamilton, and 1 point for Bottas. That's the way it works at the moment. On board here with George Russell. What's going on? Oh, yes, he touched Sainz. So he just had a little bit of oversteer there, and it looked like Sainz was coming through fast. Almost forgot to update the race leader after all that. Of course, it's Verstappen currently leading the race. Oh, Mazepin came together with Schumacher as well. Is there any damage there? Just looking at this incident with George Russell and Carlos Sainz again. Hard to give blame there. Hamilton tried to get around the outside as well on Verstappen. That was earlier in the race. Now I want to see this Schumacher incident again with Nicky. Oh, Mazepin. He just tried to put it up the inside but couldn't get the car slowed down. Completely his fault. Completely his fault. So Mazepin, the Mazespin as they call him, there was no spin involved in that. So yes, Hamilton now, he's about 0.8 of a second behind Verstappen. So he's still in the mix here, still in DRS zone. He can do this. Bottas has fallen away. He's about 2.5 seconds behind the rest of them. Leclerc is a little bit further back. Alonso, there's quite a gap between Leclerc and Alonso. Norris, yes, Norris is very close to Alonso, but you would expect that. Of course, almost forgetting, Alonso is on the soft tires as well. So is he going to burn out the tires very early on by using this speed so early on? You can see Bottas is falling away slightly. He still has a 1.5 gap now back to Leclerc. So I guess he can do this, but he's obviously trying to save his tires, or at least that would be the hope, that he's trying to save his tires. Now looking at this now, yeah, Alonso is up 6 places. That was such an amazing start. Russell is actually in 10th at the moment, so he could still finish in the top 10 in this race. But it won't mean anything. It's not a race. At least I don't think it's a race. The drivers would suggest differently, though, by the way that they are racing at the moment. Okay, so Leclerc's in 4th, Alonso's in 5th, Norris 6th, Perez 7th, Ricciardo 8th, Vettel 9th, and Russell in 10th place. Has anybody dropped? Oh yeah, Sainz, he had that coming together. He has dropped down 6 places. So of course he came together with Russell, so that won't have helped either of them, but in particular Sainz is in big trouble there. Big trouble. Fastest lap for Verstappen. He's now 1.5 seconds ahead of Hamilton, who's outside of DRS range. That all of a sudden becomes really, really interesting. Really interesting. What does this mean? Has Hamilton given up, or he's just going to wait until a little bit later in the race to do this? See, Perez now has closed to within a second of Norris, so he's going to try and make that work. I was going to say, well, what's the point? They're not actually getting any points here, but of course, qualifying positions, that's the point. There, we're on board with Norris now. He doesn't seem to be able to keep up with Alonso. Now he's getting closer. Yeah, so when the Mercedes power kicks in on the straight, you can see him close up. But then, yeah, Alonso really starts to pull away. Alonso is driving great at the moment. He is really driving very, very good right now. Oh no, Perez is off. Perez is off. He's spun off the track. Perez is off. What the heck happened there? I need to see a replay of this. So he's just coming up behind Norris. Oh, and he just loses it. He gets on the curbs and he loses it. And he spins all the way off the track. He doesn't make very heavy contact with the wall, so he might be able to keep that going, but does he have damage to the car? Oh, so Perez is completely out of the mix now. He is out of the mix. He won't be the rear gunner for Verstappen tomorrow, so that's really bad news for Red Bull. Good news for Merc, of course. Good news for Hamilton trying to get a home win. He got that completely wrong to get up on the curbs like that. I can't believe that. That's such a letdown. It really is. That's just not what you need from the Red Bull number 2 right now. I wonder who's going to be the Red Bull number 2 next year. Very, very random question, I know, but I do think about that quite a bit, especially with all this talk about George Russell becoming potentially a new Mercedes driver, and if he doesn't, then Marco is apparently interested in him. I just think that's inter-team rivalry, a little bit of talk going on there. Cars 63, and I missed the message, but there are cars being investigated. Hamilton now 1.6 seconds behind Verstappen. Bottas 2.8 seconds further back. So he's not really in the mix there. And we're on lap 7, so only 10 laps left. So far so good. Really loving this sprint race. Really, really good. It looks like from the start, I would say the top 3 really went for it. I don't know if Hamilton now is in a situation where he's just going to give up and settle for second place. Do you risk the car? Do you risk the engine by pushing hard? I'm not sure, but it's a completely new perspective for us all. So we hopefully will learn a lot in this race. And as I said, maybe he's just getting out of that warm air, especially in these really hot conditions. And that closer to the end of the race, he's going to give it another shot. This is Lewis Hamilton after all. He's supremely fast. He's very, very fast. And especially when they have so much speed advantage over the Red Bull, because the Red Bull seem to have gone for a very low downforce setup. So Alonso now is in 6th place. Oh, so we've missed the overtake. Norris got past Alonso. Oh, that's a shame. I really wanted to see that. But we can look at the next one, because Ricciardo now is all over the back of Alonso. So I'm sure this will be a very similar type of overtake. There wasn't a lot of overtaking in the Formula 2 earlier today. So I didn't expect a lot of overtaking in this race. But it seems like there are some overtaking opportunities. It's not Monte Carlo we're racing in after all. So it's Russell and Sainz who are under investigation, and that was the situation a little bit earlier in the race where Russell seemed to run a little bit wide and Sainz was coming through quite fast, and they collided. I think it was probably a racing incident, but I think we're going to find out either way very, very soon, because race control now are saying will be investigated after the session. Okay, so is that a couple of places grid penalty for Russell potentially for tomorrow? I hope not. We want to see Russell in the top 10. We want to see him in the mix. We want to see him score some points for Williams. Amazing. At the British Grand Prix as well. It would be fantastic for him to score his first points at the British Grand Prix. And then that would really light the fire underneath Mercedes with regards to what they do next season. When he's performing like that, let's face it, Williams is probably the second worst team on the grid. And he's been, for the last number of races now, he's been so consistently racing well. Just watching Ricciardo here on the back of Alonso, I thought something was going to happen. Verstappen sets another fastest lap. which is appropriate since this is for pole position, in a sense. Yeah. No move coming up. Now, Norris is pulling away all the while this is happening. Norris is getting away from his teammate. I'd love to see Ricciardo have a crack at Norris. Here goes Ricciardo now down the inside. He's got it done. He's got it done. Now, Alonso is very close to him. Is he going to hit back immediately? Oh, you see Ricciardo, though, has DRS, so obviously the detection zones worked very well for him there. But there's Alonso. He is really pushing Ricciardo very hard. He's trying here. He's trying. He's going to try and get back past. He only has to hold him off for another... If he does get back past, he only has to hold him off for another 8 laps. Oh, here he goes. Here he goes around the outside. No way. No, he couldn't do it. He must still have some good advantage with the tyres he's running on, because he seemed to have very good grip and traction going around the outside there, but he didn't have the speed. I think Ricciardo is pulling away from him now. So Ricciardo, go on, get after Norris. I really like Norris, but I also really like Ricciardo, and I want to see Ricciardo do something. Get after your teammate. Overtake him, if you can. Just watching a replay of that again. There is a team radio from Ricciardo. Didn't hear it. I assume he's just really, really happy with that move. I would be too. Not every day you overtake Fernando Alonso, even if he is in a slower car. I wonder what Alonso thinks of the McLaren. He was with them for so many years when they were going through their difficult patch, and now they suddenly have a little bit of form and he's not involved anymore. It must be a real kicker for him. Alonso hasn't had the best luck when it comes to choosing the correct team at the correct time. Okay, I guess he had Renault. But Ferrari didn't work. Ferrari worked even worse, I suppose, for Vettel. 2012, Alonso could have won that World Championship. He was so close to it. So very, very close. So Vettel is in 8th at the moment, and he's holding off Russell. Russell is now in 9th place. Of course, yes, he'd have gained a position with Perez spinning off there. Where is Perez right now? So Perez is in 18th place. He's only a second ahead of Mick Schumacher. No, he's a second behind Latifi, sorry. And he's 7 seconds ahead of Mick Schumacher. Oh, that's disappointing. I thought Mick Schumacher might actually overtake another car apart from his teammates. That would have been good for him. Now, there's the onboard with Alonso at the start. So far, so good. Oh, it's just around the outside. It must be the extra grip. It's the extra grip that Alonso has. It really worked very well for him. Of course, he's running on the soft tyre. Nearly everybody else is running on the hard tyre, except for Bottas. And we'll see if he comes into play at the very end. Captain Killshot. Thanks, mate. I'm unable to watch it live at the moment. Lifesaver you are. Well, no, thank you for tuning in. And so we've only 6 laps left. Can you believe it? So, yeah, the new format. So far, so good. This has been very, very enjoyable. Hoping for some action at the end. So with 6 laps to go, what's the point where Hamilton decides that he's going to go after Verstappen? At what point does he decide to do that? Very soon, I hope. Very, very soon, I'm hoping. Now, so there's Vettel. He's closing in on Alonso now. I think the soft tyre probably wasn't the right choice for Alonso. It helped him at the very start of this race, but he's falling away a bit now. And Russell is also very close to Vettel. Russell's in 9th, so Russell will make up another position here as well if they can manage to get these moves done in the next 5 laps. I don't see any reason they wouldn't. It's not easy to overtake Fernando Alonso, I'm sure of it, but I was looking at that. There's a new graphic actually they have on screen at the moment. So they seem to have some kind of white box around the bottom of the car on the screen so you can see it more clearly where the car is. I can't say I've ever had an issue with this before. I don't think we really need that, but If it helps, it helps. Vettel now, he's in DRS range, so he's very close. And we're looking now at Sainz. So Sainz is in 12th place, and he's about half a second behind Gasly. So he's obviously wants to look at getting that 11th place. Lewis says he's giving it everything. Is there any more power? And he's been told to stand by. They're looking into it. So, well, I don't ever believe anything Lewis Hamilton says on the team radio. If he comes on now and says that his tyres are gone, then I know he's going to win this race. It's like code from Hamilton. So we're down to the final 5 laps. It's 2 seconds now between Verstappen and Hamilton, so he is dropping ever so slightly. And there's a 6-second gap then back to Bottas from Hamilton. So it's really not good enough again from Bottas, but I think the soft tyres were the wrong choice for him today. Leclerc is solid in 4th place. He won't get any points for 4th place though, unfortunately, but he's only 2 seconds behind Bottas now. And maybe if Bottas's tyres do start to fall away, you know that, 4.5 laps left, he probably doesn't have enough time to close in on Bottas. So it was worth the gamble for this first race, I suppose, for Bottas. He probably won't do that again. Captain Killshot, you're waiting. Yeah, I know. It's code. Every time we hear that message, we know that Hamilton is about to step it up a gear. But he hasn't done that just yet. Now Vettel is very interested in Alonso here for 7th place. He still hasn't gotten by though. And Russell seems to have dropped away slightly. Russell has his own problems because Ocon is trying to get in on the mix here. Now, is Vettel going to pull the move here? No, not yet. Not just yet. Verstappen sets another fastest lap. Oh, it looks like this is probably Verstappen's race. I don't want to jinx it, but it's probably going to be Verstappen's race. Time will tell now if I have jinxed it or not. Yeah, Vettel, he can't do it here. He can't get past Alonso. Alonso looks like he's pulling away slightly now. Now going down the straight, we'll see if Vettel can close in again. Just use that Mercedes engine. So Vettel started in 10th. So he's made up 2 places already. Gerard, hi from the Philippines, Max fan. Well, you must be very, very happy, and hello to everybody in the Philippines. Got to love the internet. Got to love the internet, the global reach. It looks really good for Max right now, but we saw what his teammate did. So hopefully Max hangs in there. We don't have any tyre failures or anything like that. Who are we looking at? Sainz got past Gasly, so that will put Sainz into 11th place. Ocon is running in 10th and Russell is in 9th. I can't see the gap between those right now. We're on lap 15, by the way. Lap 15, so only 2.5 laps to go at this stage. Another fastest lap from Verstappen. Another fastest lap from Verstappen. So, he's really setting the tone for tomorrow. Hamilton must be officially worried looking at this. He must be really, really worried because this does not bode well for tomorrow's race. And this heat apparently helps the Red Bulls a little bit more than it helps the Mercs. Mercs not great in the heat. That's also got to be a worry for them as well. Gerard, you're Dutch, but stuck there due to COVID. Ah, okay, that explains it. Actually, I should have looked at your name and figured that one out, but too busy looking at the race. Verstappen is doing very, very well though, and he's doing the Dutch proud at the moment. Of course, the Austrian Grand Prix was amazing with all the orange banners and Dutch jerseys and everything in the crowd and the orange flares. It looked fantastic. Won't see so much of that here at the British Grand Prix, but if Norris, Hamilton or Russell do anything, there'll certainly be lots of Union Jacks and celebrations going around. Verstappen is here to crash the party though. 2.9 seconds now, Hamilton away from Verstappen. We're on lap 16 of 17, so it's looking really good for Verstappen right now. Vettel can't get past Alonso. He just can't do it. He's 7/10 of a second behind Alonso now. He can't do it. Ricciardo is 6/10, or not 6/10, he's 6 seconds behind his teammate, so he's not going to catch Norris. And Norris, in turn, is 12 seconds behind Leclerc, so he's really dropped away from Leclerc. June. June. So this is boring. Bring back the old way. Is it boring? I don't know. I haven't made up my mind. There certainly was a little bit of excitement. Is this more boring than regular qualifying? I think that's the question. So regular qualifying, we're basically just watching them going around as fast as possible, and you kind of can tell who the top 3 or 4 are going to be every single time. I guess the race doesn't really change that. So that's how I'm measuring this. Is it less exciting than a good qualifying session? At the moment, probably not less exciting. No, I would say it's ever so slightly more exciting. Seeing Perez run off like that as well added to the excitement, and you could make the argument that would happen in qualifying anyway. You know, that there was no other driver involved there. It was just Perez getting it wrong, going out onto the curb. Yeah, I'm very interested to see what people do think of this. We're on to the last lap, by the way, so I'm very interested to see what people think of this format. I need to think about it myself as to whether or not I like this. Gerard, yeah, the points are the difference. That's a very good point, Gerard. The points certainly are the difference, and so 3 points is a big haul to take away. But actually, now we're going to have Max increasing his championship lead, it would look like, based on this. So the points are a big factor, but also everybody wants to qualify well. You want to be on the best possible starting position as well. The one thing I'm not certain on is the implications to the tyre setup for the feature race tomorrow. Was that linked back to yesterday's qualifying? I don't know. I haven't been able to find that anywhere, and I need to look into that. Or does everybody have a free choice on tyres starting tomorrow's race? So that will be the interesting aspect. Hamilton has really closed in on Verstappen here. What's going on? Has Verstappen just slowed it down? Well, he's very close to the end of the lap here, so he's about to win this. Hamilton is going half a second faster than Verstappen at the moment. But here's Verstappen. He wins the first sprint race, aka qualifying. Verstappen is on pole position. He wins the first ever sprint race. Hamilton is second, Bottas is third, Leclerc is in fourth. Leclerc had no bother whatsoever. He was not worried about those McLarens, so that bodes well for tomorrow. And we're looking now at Alonso and Vettel. Vettel isn't going to do this. Alonso is going to pip him to it. I'm expecting Ricciardo to come over. Yeah, Ricciardo has finished. Ricciardo is in sixth. Alonso is going to come around here for 7th place, I guess. Here we go. Yeah, he won't be troubled from here. So Vettel is in 8th. Russell is in 9th. Congratulations, Russell. Congrats, Max. Yeah, lots of comments here. Yes, for Max. Congrats, Max. Yeah, well done, Max. Well done, Max. I'm looking forward to hearing the team radio. I can see it's actually on my screen at the moment, but I can't hear it in my ear right now. So I'll watch that a little bit later. So the F1 sprint. And Ocon then comes home in 10th place. So he qualifies in 10th for tomorrow's race. I think I like this new format. I think I do. I'm not fully there with it yet. I think I like it. But I feel a little robbed now with having George Russell come home in the top 10 and he doesn't get any points for it. He just gets another good qualifying place for tomorrow's race. Can he do this tomorrow's race? Williams have this habit of doing something in the pit stops. Anyway, yeah, I think I'm going to leave it there for now. So Max wins the race. Well done to him, setting the tone for tomorrow as well. I know I keep saying that, setting the tone for tomorrow, but he probably will set the tone for tomorrow. Jared, will Max start from pole tomorrow? That's very good. My understanding was that yes, he will, but maybe they're doing a reverse grid. This I went into this with the assumption that your finishing position here dictates where you start tomorrow, but I could be completely wrong. Maybe they'll do some kind of reverse grid thing here, in which case it means Hamilton is ahead of Max for tomorrow, but Max can easily I think get himself into the top 3, or if not even win the race tomorrow. That's the thing with this new format. That's a great question, Gerard. I had not even considered that. Not even considered that we could be doing some kind of Formula 2 / Formula... they don't do it in Formula E. It's completely different to Formula E, but Formula 2-esque reverse grid start for tomorrow. I'm not going to rest now until I know the answer. The race will be exciting. And Gilmer is asking, is it going to be reverse grid? I don't know. I really want to know now. And I've come onto the Formula 1 website to try and figure this out, but where the heck do I go for that to find that out? Maybe I'll just go onto the British Grand Prix, and they'll tell me there. I would really like them actually to put a graphic up on the screen, and I could answer this question for you as well. So if they put up some kind of graphic and just tell us the starting positions for tomorrow, that would really easily answer this question, wouldn't it? But it's 3 points for Max, 2 points for Lewis, and 1 point for Valtteri. And Perez is nowhere. Regardless of it being a reverse grid or not, Perez is starting way down the grid. The reverse grid probably only kicks in for the top 10. So the voted moment of the race was Alonso's start. That's not really a surprise. He made up 6 positions off the start. Look at him go around the outside there. It was a really nice move, and he lost out to the McLarens in the end, but he did hold off Vettel and Russell and his own teammate Ocon as well, so he did well, and he was on the soft tyres. Still no graphics on the screen telling us what's happening tomorrow, which is really weird. Really weird. I also don't know what's the deal with the tyres tomorrow. All right. Anyhow, I'm going to go and look into this mystery and figure it out for myself. I'll probably post it under the video or something like that. Thanks very much, everybody, for joining. I think it was an exciting race. I think I like this format. I'm going to ponder it a little bit more, but I think I liked it. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again really